Welcome to Twin Talks. Today we're going to talk about the evolving world and why it takes some of our young people a while to get out of the house. A lot of them feel frustrated and confused as to where their careers are going and where their lives are going. So, Nikki, what do you have to say around it?
Well, it's hard, right? Because, in terms of education or life, it's way faster now. Like, I feel kind of badly. When I went through school, and that's not that long ago, but, people would take more, you were steered by parents usually through traditional paths. But now, look at the options that kids have.
So many choices.
Right? Like, you're on YouTube, they're influencers, they're making their own videos, and they're making real livings out of doing this. And so people are going, well, I don't know if I want to go traditional, but it's taking them a long time to make choices.
Well, I don't know.
Which can be problematic because in the end, at the end of the day, after high school, there's a lot of work that needs to be done between, let's say, 18 and 30, right? In terms of life and trying to get it together, right?
That's true.
Depending on what your goals are. Like if you want to be a family person, I know people say, oh, you do what you want, but women, we have sort of, if we want children, we have a certain time for that.
Yes.
And that's not something that I've said or made up.
That's
so
true.
like you would kind of want to have yourself a little set up before kids, ideally.
Ideally, that's the best.
It's not for everybody.
I would hope, yes.
But yes. I think, it would be really cool somehow is if somehow earlier, let's say right after high school, if we could sort of have it more focused. Like, yes, a lot of people go to university, a lot of people go to college, but sometimes when you go to university, let's say, just for sake of argument, you could do 4 years in a degree. It could be a general science degree, an arts degree, whatever, but there's no like direct correlation between this and the job that's out there.
I think that's a big problem though. So if you know exactly what you want to do, don't you think we should have programs that you can go directly from high school? And there's some programs out there. There's concurrent programs for certain fields. But I think there should be more for everybody out there. So if you know exactly what you want to do, you should be able to show your high school marks, get a degree and the skill or the practical that you want to do, instead of wasting 8 years. It's not wasting, but instead of taking 8 years to do it, you can take 4 to do it, and then get out there and have the actual connectedness with the employers.
The apprenticeship program, which I think is really important, through, let's say, any kind of trades, construction, graphic design, hairdressing, they've already got it locked. I think that's the way it should go, because what happens is usually not always, somebody goes and does co-op in high school, and they get themselves aligned in an area that they know they want to go into, and then through that co-op they've made connections and hopefully they can be hired, and then once they are hired they are able to get the skills from their mentor and go through part-time school to get the hours that they need. So instead of putting out $20,000 a year, they're actually getting paid to actually get the experience that they need. But I would say the academic part, they're starting to, right? Like I can't complain. Like there are some programs, let's say like nursing, that's already got that figured out, right?
Yes.
But I would say they need to build this in a much larger capacity in terms of academia or more traditional routes.
Yes.
Because it's taking too long, I think.
Yes, and there's a level of confusion and frustration because you're stuck in a situation where you're coming out of university or college and you've got the degree or the diploma, but then you're faced with, I don't have enough experience, and then you're stuck, right? You're stuck. And you're going, how am I going to get a job? I've got the degree or the diploma, but now they're telling me I don't have enough years. And so I'm sure there's a lot of frustration and confusion as to where to go. So what I think should happen is that they should offer more concurrent programs for everybody that's looking to do it quicker. There should be 2 programs. One who you might want to take longer for those people who don't know exactly what they want, and for those people who know exactly what they want. If I wanted to be a lawyer, if I, coming out of high school and I know that, I should be able to take the exam, the LSAT exam early, apply to university, and within 2 years then continue to go into law school. It should be concurrent. And that way you're in and out and you can start your profession earlier.
Yeah, and some might say that, you know, you need a certain level of maturity.
True.
Before you can take on these legal aspects or in medicine or whatever. But usually, you know, if you do, say instead of a 4-year degree, let's say 6 years, and your first 2 years out of high school are foundational things, and then the last 4 are the traditional law school, let's say, just for example's sake.
And then actually practicing, you know, and mentoring with other lawyers. And then you, again, you still
then
have
you're
to
out by
pass the
24,
bar.
yeah.
You still have to pass the bar, and you're in and out by 24, and then you can actually have the experience and the degree or the diploma or whatever you're doing, and you can get out and start your life instead of waiting forever and ever, amen. Right?
It's kind of true. Like, I do feel a little sorry for the younger people, because it's got to be just so stressful trying to figure out what is it that I'm doing, and do I want to go traditional or non-traditional, and how do I get to the path? And it's just hard, but I would hope that, like, education right now in terms of college and university, they're really trying to start to get these pathways ironed out to make it faster, and I think they need to continue to do that.
I agree. Like, you know what, I find that when we were in school, it's way better now than it was when we were there. I didn't have co-op in the afternoons.
Now they've got co-op, they have schisms or specific areas that you might be interested in, like business schism and aeronautic engineering. They have it all around.
Yes.
And I think that's a great start.
It is a great start.
It has to start in high school, but especially when you go out to the bigger field, take a cue from the trades, get it going faster academics.
I think so too.
Yeah.
So if you have a comment on this show, we'd love to hear from you. We want to know from the young people, do you find it difficult? Do you find it hard to make that connection? We'd love to hear from you. So we hope we helped you on Twin Talks today.
So like us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
And don't forget to subscribe.
See you next time on Twin Talks.
Booyah!